What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Happy Thursday, April 28th, 2022. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, click the notification bell so you're notified every time I drop a video. And with no further ado, let's get into boxing, the bread and butter, the foundation of this channel. Two big fights coming up this Saturday. First on the docket, Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson for the WBO Super Featherweight and WBC Featherweight championship titles. So you have two belts on the line this Saturday on ESPN starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Nice matchup here. So you have Stevenson, former Olympic gold champion, silver champion at the 2016 Rio Olympics. And he's been really flying up the leaderboards, and getting it done. So you have a 24-year-old southpaw. He's really starting to come into his prime, coming to his own. He had a big win over Jamel Herring last November, I believe, in a 10-round stoppage. And Jamel Herring, I don't know if he was in his camp or he was one of his training partners, but they've obviously seen each other before. They spar with each other before. They know each other in and out. And Jamel Herring had the WBO title, and Shakur got his first title by beating Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring, not a particularly special fighter, but very solid, great fundamentals, and it just shows you that Shakur Stevenson is a maturing fighter that has a lot of the basics down, and he's very fast, very slick, has solid power. So a great win to place himself in the position to get this fight against Oscar Valdez, who is coming off of a victory in his previous bout against Mr. Canseco, Brazil's own. Now, mind you, that was a very close fight. Now, Oscar Valdez, prior to that fight, how he got the belt was by beating Miguel Porchel in a fight where he was an underdog, right? He was a 200 plus 270 betting underdog against Burchell in February of last year, and he came out and hurt Burchell early in the fight and then knocked him out in the 10th round in a very, very, very big punch. Might have been knockout of the year at the beginning of that year. It's a very, very big statement win. And then he came back and he had to defend his title against Robson Concheco in September 2021. And look, he won it by unanimous decision, but it was highly contested and it was controversial. Some people had Concheco winning in a very close fight. It was back and forth because I know Valdez had 1 point deducted, and then going into that fight, he tested positive for a banned substance in late August, a month out from the fight. Both the A sample and then the retest and the B sample came back positive, but yet they still let the fight go on, which is already shady. But hey, what's new with the WBC, right? Come on, Suleiman. We're supposed to have the clean boxing program, and this is what we have been going on. Money talks, right? Top rank, Bob Arum, but need I say more? But between the positive drug test, and I'm reading off of TWSN.net on their article, and a close fight between Concheco, doubters started to speak out against Valdez. And look, he's gotten his fair share of criticism, and it was deservedly earned, okay? But now he's getting an opportunity to go against one of the youngest and brightest in Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, 17-0, 9 knockouts. Oscar Valdez, 30-0, 23 knockouts. Now, let's look at the tail of the tape here. Shakur Stevenson, 24 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach from Newark, New Jersey. And then Oscar Valdez, 31 years old, 5'6", with a 66-inch reach. So the measurables are pretty similar. Valdez obviously has the KO record to suggest he has more power, so to speak, at this point in his career. But in the last fight that I saw, I like Shakur, the shots he was throwing, nice sharp shots. I think that there is knockout power there, especially as he grows into his body, because I don't think this is his matured state. I think you'll probably see a slightly bigger, stronger, and maybe even faster Shakur Stevenson at 27 or 28 versus at 24 or 25. The same way we saw with Canelo, when Canelo was 24 versus even when he hit like 29 or 30, leading into the fights with Triple G. His body was a lot more matured. He was more experienced. and you just grow into your grown man strength. It's just different, right? So really good matchup here. The way I see it playing out, speed wise, I give the edge to Shakur. Power, I would have to give that to Oscar Valdez as of right now. He's the more mature, experienced fighter. Ring generalship, I'm going to give the edge to Shakur Stevenson here because I loved what he did against Jamel Herring. Even though he knew him, he was able to take a much more experienced and mature fighter and be able to dictate the pace and the nature of the fight. And it says a lot for him to be able to do that at such a young age. And Oscar Valdez had a lot of issues, and I saw that Canseco fight last September, and he had a lot of issues in that fight. A lot of issues. Now, mind you, Canseco was a gold medal recipient in 2016 at those same Olympics that Shakur Stevenson was at. But, you know, he was only, I think, 16-0 coming into that fight. He didn't have a lot of professional experience. So for Valdez to struggle that much, and then the news of the positive drug test to come back in, it's like, okay, well, how much of this is skill and how much of this is you've been getting a boost from other avenues that's been, you know, allowing you to get some of these wins that you might not have otherwise gotten. So those where the questions come in. And those questions are going to be brought to the forefront in this fight because you're going against a sharp shooter. You either got it or you don't. And then that brings me into footwork. I'm going to go with Shakur Stevenson on footwork. So speed and footwork and ring generalship to Shakur Stevenson, and then power to Oscar Valdez. And then X Factor, I'm going to have to go with Shakur Stevenson because, again, I think the competition that he's had, I know Burchelt had the belt, but he had so many. He was a up and down, straightforward, you know, walk straight to you type of fighter. No lateral movement, no head movement, and that's one of the defining victories of Valdez's career. Now I know Valdez had another big victory. I understand that, but I haven't seen enough of him. Like, take the opponent and X them out the equation. I'm just talking about him. I see very good fundamentals. He has a good jab. He has solid foot movement, but I don't see anything spectacular that sticks out at me. Versus I do see that with Shakur Stevenson. So that's why, all in all, I'm going to have to go with Shakur Stevenson in this fight. And I think Shakur will win by stoppage in 10. Maybe 11, but I think Shakur Stevenson by stoppage in 10 rounds. Because I think that has a really good combination of the jab and body work. And I think and changing angles. And I don't know if Valdez is going to be able to get inside his reach because he uses his reach better than Valdez. He has a 2-inch reach advantage, but he uses his reach and his range much better. So I don't know how Valdez is going to be able to get the timing down and be able to get in and get out of close and mid-range to be able to really shake Shakur up. So I'm going to go with Shakur by stoppage in 10 rounds. Let me know what you think about that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the next fight.